Welcome everyone to the third/fourth edition of the Countdown to 2020 WIP Work in Progress Reviews. Of course, this is being done uncut and unscripted. And the series I want to talk about today, and of course this is a series, this Countdown to 2020 series, first of all, is where I talk about story series done by fellow creative minds at places like DeviantArt, Fur Affiniate, Echoes Portal, SoFurry.com, you name it. And the story series that I want to talk about today, or in this edition, is one that I mentioned in a special edition yesterday on camera, talking about taking that next step. And that, of course, is the story series, What Dreams May Become. This story series is created and still currently being worked on when she gets a chance by one grapehyacinth that you can find here on DeviantArt. Or you can find on DeviantArt, I should say. Now, you probably are wondering, well, what's the story series about? You know, what does it focus on? Well, the story series is about two main characters. One is named Cora, the other is named Roman. Cora, basically, long story short, has a unique backstory. Like I said, she has a unique backstory. Quick summary, her father passed away / died when she was a little younger. Her mother remarried, and the guy her mother remarries is not so fond of Cora at first, but that slightly changes as the story progresses in future chapters. As you read along, as you read the story, and like I said, progresses through future chapters. And then we get to Roman, the other main character in the series. And Roman was a close friend / colleague of Cora's father. And eventually, Roman and Cora fall in love with each other. And it's all due to something that Roman has and possesses. You see, Roman apparently comes from a lineage of individuals to where every other generation, a certain family member of this lineage, I should say, is given these special gifts and abilities. And the special gift and ability that Roman is given as part of this is the ability to shapeshift into anyone or anything he wants. And when I talk about anyone, I mean even changing genders from male to female. Now, the power and ability that he's granted through this lineage that he, is a part of, this special ability and gift also allows him to share it with others, like close colleagues, friends, those he cares for very much or is in love with, like with Cora. And like I mentioned, not only is he able to shapeshift into anything or anyone, but as I mentioned, when it comes to anyone, he can also change genders. Like for himself, it goes from, he can go from being male to female, while someone like Cora could be changed from female to male. And there is a part in a certain later chapter in the story series that kind of touches upon that. Now, with that said, basically, what is the story about overall, though? Well, like I said, it focuses on Cora and Roman, and basically the development that they go through. And that's the one thing about What Dreams May Become. It's got all the elements you would want in a fantasy story. It's got the fantasy, of course, with the shapeshifting. It's got the drama when you need it. It's got the comedy. And it's got great character development for our main characters and the supporting characters. It's basically got the entire whole package. Now, what's unique about the shape-shifting abilities that Roman possesses, that he's able to do himself or share with others, is it has a unique effect on those that are given the chance to become anything or anyone they want. And this is kind of carried on into other stories that grapehyacinth has done. But the effect that it has is when someone becomes, it's like when Roman becomes an article of clothing for Cora to wear. You know, Cora at times, at various times in the series when this happens, tries to get Roman to change back, but he's able to convince her to let him stay that way for a bit because it feels right. Like basically, it feels right for him to remain this way because he has to be used. That's his purpose. So, long story short, when Roman changes into, let's say, an inanimate object like an article of clothing, or let's say a piece of paper, or whatever, the instincts of that inanimate object start to slowly influence him to where he's like, okay, I'm in this form, and now my purpose only in this form is to be used the way I should be, or the way this form should be used. Something like that. And the same goes for, like I said, a person that he grants the same ability to as well. Like Cora, for example, in one of the chapters that grapehyacinth wrote, which was part of a transformation-thon portion of the story series, Cora transformed, or shapeshift, thanks to Roman, into a big house. Yeah, Cora is shapeshift into a huge house. So, and this is all, again, all part of a transformation-thon that grapehyacinth wrote in, I think, the 5th and 6th chapters as a bit of a thank you to the viewers and watchers she had, the supporters, if you will. So, again, getting back to what I was saying, Roman turns Cora into a house as part of her list of things she wants to get turned into as part of a transformation-thon. So while he's going all around her, going around all inside of her as she's a house, you know, shutting doors, opening windows, shutting windows and all that, Cora asks Roman if he can live in her. Roman at first says that may not be a good idea. Then Cora retaliates by saying, or answers back by saying, well, why not? I am a house after all. And Roman has to remind her, no, you're not. You're a girl that's about to attend school the next day. Which disappoints her, which disappoints Cora. But the reason she asks Roman to do that and then answers by saying she is a house is just like when Roman becomes a piece of clothing like a robe or a shirt or whatever for Cora to wear. The instincts of being a house are slowly influencing Cora, where it's telling her, okay, look, you're a house now. You're meant to be used. You're meant to be lived in. That's your purpose. And then we get to later on, I think around chapter 8, I believe, where we get, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, the shape-shifting that involves gender changing, where Roman goes from being a male to a female, and Cora goes from female to male. And Roman, in his female form, basically says that, you know, because Cora points out that, hey, you're still pretty much a guy, right? And Roman, in his female form, with his new female voice, states that, oh, don't worry, my female instincts will get to that soon enough, kind of deal. Basically indicating that as a female, the female influences, the female instincts are going to influence him to the point that make him think and believe, hey, you're now a girl, you're now a woman, your purpose is always to be, your purpose has always been to be a woman or be a female. That's basically the effect overall, what I'm trying to say. That's basically the effect overall that the shape-shifting that gets utilized, the same effect too of shape-shifting gets utilized in other stories that grapehyacinth writes, like I mentioned earlier, like the Potion Place series amongst others. But basically that's the effect that the shape-shifting has on Roman, on Cora, and anyone else that gets affected. That the purpose is to be what they become, and that's about it. I know I sound like I rambled there for a minute, so I do apologize. But getting back to the story, there's a unique part in the story that really is kind of interesting. You see, once the mother and the stepfather find out about Roman and start seeing what he's about, what he's capable of, there's a part in the story where Cora's mom gets transformed into a horse. Both the mom and the stepfather get transformed into horses, and the mother, as a horse, ends up getting pregnant. I know it sounds strange, but hear me out. She ends up getting pregnant, so she can't change back. She can't change back to being human because now she's pregnant and expecting a colt. So basically, she's stuck the way she is. The only one that could change back is her husband, the stepfather. Now, besides that being another situation, another plot point in the story series that really gets interesting. It does affect Cora because Cora's like, she wants to be able to have a child, but, there are several times that it doesn't seem like it's possible, or if she does, she's not sure whether or not the child's going to be normal, if it's going to be born with the powers that Roman has. The thing is, what Cora goes through in here, it's intriguing, and it wants you to keep reading. It makes you want to keep reading. And I can't really say any more than that. I really can't say any more than that. All I could say is you need to check the story series out. It's really good. It's really good because, again, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's everything you would want in a fantasy story. It's got the fantasy with the shape-shifting. It's got the drama, like I just mentioned, which for a good example is what I just mentioned. It's got the comedy, like with the transformation thon and all that. It's got the great character development with Cora and Roman and the mother and the stepfather and other secondary characters. And it's got the whole total package in my opinion. But something else that Grapehyacinth does with What Dreams May Become is she also allows people to commission side stories for it. Just like Minor Dash Alterations does a few side stories with the Demonica series, basically Grapehyacinth, if you commission her to make it so, she will actually do a side story based around the world of What Dreams May Become. And I was fortunate enough to have one of mine be one of the first of 2 or 3 side stories that was created called Weekend at Roman's. So, excuse me. So even though it's kind of like a side story based in the world of What Dreams May Become, it's a good story. It's a fun story. It's a good story. It's a fun story, and it's got a touching ending as well. But overall, I would really suggest checking the story series out. If you've not checked it out yet, you'll really enjoy it. I think anybody that ever wonders how you could take something like shape-shifting and make it a main source of power, fun, whatever, but put it in a story that will definitely garner your interest and make you want to see more. This is the story. This is the story series, What Dreams May Become. This is a story series that will do it. And it's still in progress as we speak. Like I said, recently she dropped chapter 17, and there's no doubt she's got future chapters to go as well. So I would definitely suggest checking out What Dreams May Become. You'll really enjoy it. I'll provide the link down below in the description. And really, that's all I can say. That's all I can say, guys. So thank you all for listening. I know I sounded like I rambled. I do apologize. This is uncut and unscripted. And I do apologize if I repeated myself several times. But I just want to get the point across about how good this story series is and how much you should really check it out, along with the other story series that she's done as well. Even check out her Amazon page, because yes, she does, as I mentioned in the special edition of Taking the Next Step, she does have an Amazon page as well, where you can actually purchase some of the stories she puts up there. That's about it, guys. So until next time, let me know what you all think about what I had to say here. Let me know if any of you have actually read the stories of Grapehyacinth and mostly the story of What Dreams May Become. Comment down below. Love to hear from each and every one of you. And I am out.